Number 2, solving multi-step inequalities. So solving for x, the first thing we need to do is distribute. So distribute to 4, we'll have 4x minus 4 minus 5x is greater than or equal to negative 3. Now we highlight the like terms and combine them. We have 4x and negative 5x, which gives you negative x minus 4 is greater than or equal to negative 3. Add 4 to both sides, you'll get negative x is greater than or equal to 1. Divide both sides by negative 1, we'll have x is less than or equal to negative 1. Change the direction of the inequality because we divide by a negative number. And then this is going to be the answer. Number 3, what are the solutions of 7x plus 31 is greater than 2x minus 14? This is like the equations with variables on both sides, so we start by moving the smallest variable. So we subtract 2x from both sides. We get 5x plus 31 is greater than negative 14. Subtract 31 from both sides, we'll get 5x is greater than negative 45. Divide both sides by 5, and we'll get x is greater than negative 9. Notice we do not switch the direction of the inequality because we didn't divide by a negative number. It has to be negative that we divide by in order to switch it. So this is the answer. 4. In a community garden shown to the right, you want to plant and fence in a vegetable garden that is adjacent to your friend's garden. You have at most 44 feet of fence, and the fence must surround all 4 sides of the garden. What are the possible lengths of your garden? So let's start by writing in our information. Both of these are going to be the same measure, and we need to find what the top and bottom are going to be. Now we have at most 44 feet of fence. That means the sum of all 4 of these, our perimeter, has to be 44 or less. It can be no larger than 44. So 44 or less will be less than or equal to. So let's add all 4 of these up. So all 4 of those has to be less than or equal to 44. Combine our like terms, we'll have 2x plus 20. X and x is 2x. 10 plus 10 is 20. Subtract 20 from both sides, you'll have 2x is less than or equal to 24. Divide both sides by 2, x will be less than or equal to 12, so these 2 measures have to be less than or equal to 12 feet. That's going to be the answer for number 4. Typing it in, you would say it has to be at most, if it's any larger than 12 feet, we will not have enough fence. So it will be at most 12. And that is correct. 15. Your cell phone plan costs $29.99 per month, plus 15 cents for each text message you send or receive. You have at most $36 to spend on your cell phone bill. What is the maximum number of text messages that you can send or receive next month? We're going to start by establishing what x is. X is going to be the number of text messages you send or receive. I know you might think per month, and you think x might be months, but notice that our question is involving just 1 month. That means we don't have to deal with any months. Our question is asking, what is the maximum number of text messages? So x has to be the number of text messages we can send or receive. So setting up our inequality, we're going to have $29.99 plus 15 cents for each text message. We have at most $36 to spend. Now, at most means I can spend that much or less. So that means that much or less will be less than or equal to. So I have $29.99 plus 0.15x is less than or equal to 36. Now from there, I subtract $29.99 from both sides, and I'll get 0.15x is less than or equal to 6.01. Divide both sides by 0.15, and I'll get a decimal, but I'll round down to 40. The reason why I round down is because if I go above that 40, then I will be spending more than $36, and I can't be doing that. So rounding down will give me the most amount of texts I could send while not spending over $36. So 40 text messages would be the answer for number 15. Number 16, we are multiplying both sides of the inequality by -7, and then we're going to divide both sides by -7. So let's start by multiplying. So we have -7 times -3 and -7 times 6. That will give us positive 21 on the left and -42 on the right. Since we're multiplying by a negative number, it means we got to switch the direction of the inequality. So instead of pointing to the left, we'll point to the right and become a greater than instead of a less than. So the answer for A of 16 would be 21 is greater than -42. Now for B, we are dividing this inequality by -7. So doing that, you'll have a negative divided by a negative, which is a positive 3/7. 6 divided by -7 will leave as 6/7. It's a fraction we can't reduce. And since we divided by -7, switch the direction of the inequality, so we'll have greater than. So 3/7 is greater than 6. Number 18, we're solving the inequality, graphing that inequality, and then representing the solution in interval notation. So we start by adding 14 on both sides. You'll get -5x is greater than 30. Divide both sides by -5. You'll get x is less than -6. So let's graph that. So choose A. X is less than -6. Now for the graph, being a less than and not a less than or equal to means it'll be an open circle. Since it's pointing to the left, being a less than, it would be going to the left. So open circle at -6 going to the left means it's going to be D. Okay, so now let's take a look at our interval notation. So first, let's remember that parentheses mean that there is no line under the inequality, and a line under it means we use brackets. Looking at our inequality, we have x is less than -6. That means our solution is going to be going to the negative direction forever. That means on the left, our endpoint is going to be -infinity, and there's always a parenthesis on the infinity. So start off with the parenthesis. Then we put our -infinity because we're going to the left. Then we write our -6. That's when we look at our inequality and see that there is no line under it, so that means we'll use a parenthesis. So this will be my interval. So let's type that in. So start by typing parenthesis, -infinity, comma, -6, parenthesis. And that's the answer for number 18.